Have you looked down at your computer or phone today? You probably press those buttons thousands of times every week. But take a close glance at the top row of letters. It spells out a completely nonsensical word, QWERTY. Why didn't the creators just organize the alphabet in normal ABC order? You might assume the current setup was scientifically engineered to help human fingers move as fast as possible. But the reality is exactly the opposite. Welcome back to the Anatomy of Things. Today, we are dissecting the mechanical mystery of the modern keyboard and learning why your fingers are forced to do a complicated dance just to type a simple sentence. Let's get into it. To figure out why our keys are scattered in such a chaotic way, we have to travel back to the late 1860s. An American inventor named Christopher Latham Sholes was working on one of the very first commercial writing machines. In his initial prototypes, the layout made perfect, logical sense. He arranged the keys in two distinct rows, straight in alphabetical order, and they looked almost identical to the keys on a piano. But there was a massive mechanical hurdle. Inside the machine, each letter was attached to a long metal arm, known as a type bar. These metal arms sat closely together in a circular ring, often called a basket. When you pressed a button, the corresponding metal arm would swing upward to stamp ink onto the paper. The problem was that if an operator typed two neighboring letters too quickly, those metal arms would physically crash into each other midair and become hopelessly jammed. The typist would then have to stop working, reach inside the device, and untangle the mess. To solve this engineering nightmare, Sholes and his team realized they needed to break apart the most frequently used English letter pairings. They redesigned the layout so that commonly combined letters would trigger metal arms, located on completely opposite sides of the circular basket. The primary goal was not necessarily to slow people down, but rather to minimize the chances of adjacent mechanical arms clashing during rapid typing. Here's a quick twist for you. Pause for a second and look down at your keyboard right now. Try spelling the word typewriter in your head. Notice anything? You can actually spell that entire word using only the letters available on the very top row. When the famous manufacturing company E. Remington & Sons took over the mass production of the machine in the 1870s, they reportedly adjusted the layout. They moved the letter R to the top row, which allowed their traveling salesmen to quickly impress potential buyers by pecking out the word typewriter without moving their hands around. Fast forward a century and a half. We no longer have physical metal arms swinging around inside our sleek devices or glass touchscreens. So why are we still bound to a scrambled map of letters meant for a clunky 19th century machine? The answer is simply human habit, or what economists refer to as path dependence. In the 1930s, a researcher named Auguste Dvorak actually invented an entirely new, highly efficient layout. He placed the most popular vowels and consonants right on the center home row, drastically reducing the physical distance your fingers have to travel. More recently, another hyper-efficient layout called Colmac was created to modernize typing even further. But by the time these superior options arrived, inertia had already won. Millions of standard devices had already been manufactured. Typing schools were strictly teaching the old method, and the general public simply did not want to undergo the frustrating process of relearning how to type. The original standard was just too deeply ingrained in modern society to ever erase. So the next time you send a quick text message or write an email, remember that you are navigating a relic of the past. Your modern digital communication is being steered by a 150-year-old mechanical workaround. Thank you for watching. If you have a suggestion for the next everyday mystery we should uncover, leave it in the comments below, and we will be sure to give you a shout-out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories behind the simplest details.